exact same with our in-cab pre-trip inspection. First thing we do today, every other day, is chalk our wheels on the downward slope. And remember guys, that is not always behind the tire, it is the way the truck will roll. So today it is behind the tire. Over there, remember, it will be at a downward, the front angle will be at the downward slope. Then we check 3 emergency items. First one is that red box, has 3 reflective triangles in it, and they are present and in good working condition. Our second emergency item is a properly mounted, fully charged 10 BC or better fire extinguisher. Good to go. And our third one is spare fuses. They are easily accessible inside the cab, somewhere. Abrasions in the belt. Then we're going to proceed with a safe start, which means our vehicle is in neutral. Parking brakes are released. Right foot over the brake. Left foot on the clutch to the floor. Key in the on position. Gauges are sweeping. ABS light on and off. We're good to start the vehicle. And remember, that has to be articulated every time you do it.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're started up.
Keep that shit all the way up on the side.
All right, now we'll begin our spiral. And as I told you before, we're going to do it in order. The packet kind of bounces you around, tendency to forget some things. So we're going to do it as we come to it. So we start with our driver's side window and mirror, properly mounted and secured. It's not crack damaged or loose. No illegal stickers or obstructions on my mirror, and it is properly adjusted for me. We come to our windshield up here. It's not crack damaged or loose, properly mounted, no signs of leaking. There are no illegal stickers or obstructions. So when we drive, you'll have to remove your sweater vest. And then we got on our windshield, we have 2 windshield wipers, obviously. And on those wipers, we have 2 windshield wiper blades. It's all properly mounted and secured, it's not crack damaged or loose. There are no cuts, bumps, or abrasions on the blades. And they are seated properly against the windshield. They work, as does my windshield washer fluid. And then we come to our passenger side mirror and window. I'll inspect that the same way I did my driver's side. Come down here, continuing the spiral to our floor. We check, make sure there's no debris, anything loose that could roll under my pedals, and be a safety concern. So continuing in the spiral motion, we come up, 2 hands on the wheel. We have a city horn. We have an air horn, both working properly. Then we come over here to the left side of where this stalk is. We're going to check our indicators. The indicators are inside the cab. We cannot see the turn signals. They're outside. So our left indicator works as it should. So does the right. Our 4-way flashers work as they should. Our high beam indicator works as it should. That's complete with that. Then we come up to our gauge cluster. We're going to go top down, left to right like a book. We're going to read them as we see them. Our RPM gauge is at idle, working properly in response to my throttle. Our oil pressure gauge is working properly. It also responds to my throttle. My fuel and DEF gauge. The fuel is the white arrow and the blue is the DEF, as indicated on the writing below it. It's working properly, and we have enough of each to make it to our next destination. In the center console, or the center display here, we have our voltmeter. It's reading 14.2 volts, working properly. Needs to be around 12 to 14. Continuing on, we got our speedometer. We cannot check that yet because we're not moving. And then we have our primary, secondary air tanks, both working properly and building to the governor cutoff, which is 120 to 140 psi. And our last gauge to check is our water temperature gauge, and it is working properly and building. Come all the way over here. We want to check our heater and our defrost, so we put the dot on the little guy down here. We check, we got airflow, we got heat there. Defrost is working. Fantastic. All right, that'll conclude the spiral part. Now we're going to move into the in-cab brake check. This is a zero-sum game. So if you nailed all of that and we missed one thing from here on out,
Yes, sir.
we're done.
Yes, sir.
All right, so what we're going to do is we've got our wheels chalked. We're going to release our brakes, both of them. We're going going to roll back on that chalk a little bit. And when we release those brakes, we notice our air pressure drops quite a bit. So we need to build that back up. And we're going to build that back up to the governor cutoff of 120 to 140, indicated by an audible sneeze of the air compressor. And we'll build that back up by holding the accelerator down. This has a rev limiter on it, so it won't go past 12, so we can bury it to the floor. We don't have to worry about overrevving. So we have air pressure. Now we're going to go ahead and shut the truck off, and we're going to move into the scale. So just memorize what SCALE stands for. S is system on. C, check gauges. So we're checking the sweep, checking our ABS light. It's on, it's off, we're good to go. Now we're on to A. That is the applied brake test. And just like it sounds, we are just going to apply our foot to the brake, like so. Watch our air pressure gauge. It's going to drop and then stabilize. And once that happens, you ask your instructor or your tester to start a 60-second timer. And what we're looking for is to lose no more than 4 psi during that 60 seconds. So I'll start my time here. We'll simulate the full minute. And time is up. Successful test. We didn't lose any more than 4 psi. Good to go. Now we move into the L. And that stands for low pressure warning. So what we're going to do is we're going to pump down our brakes until we get an audible and or visual low pressure alarm for air pressure. And that's got to come on before 55 psi. Also indicated by the red line on the inside of your gauge that stops right at 55. So we're going to pump down the brakes. We have our audible and visual alarm of low pressure warning. So that's a successful test. It came on before 55 psi. Now for the E part of the brakes test is the emergency parking brake activation. So what we're going to do is continue to pump down our brakes until these knobs both pop out. That should happen between 20 and 40 psi. We watch the knobs first. When they both eject, then we check our gauge. Make sure we don't miss those guys popping out. Some trucks, they slam out. Others, they barely bump. So we're going to do that. Pump the brakes. There's two. Alright, both of our brakes are out. We check our gauge. We're in between 20 and 40 psi. Successful test. So we got our brakes set, but we got no air pressure. So now we're going to go back and do a safe start. It's neutral. We know our brakes are set. Clutch, foot over the brake. Our gauges are already swept, and we just start the truck. Now we're going to build that air pressure back up to that 120, 140 governor cutoff. And while that is happening, I'm going to get out and retrieve my wheel chalk and stow it back in the box. Right back in the truck. Don't forget to buckle up. If you move the truck without that seatbelt on, it is a fail. Now we're back in. We'll go ahead and step on our accelerator to expedite the building up of said pressure. You heard our sneeze. Now have our air pressure back. What we're going to do now is we're going to move on to the TTDS. That is your tug testing and service brake test. So what we're going to do is we're going to test our trailer brakes by releasing our tractor brake, putting the truck into third gear. And all we're going to do is find the sweet spot, remove our foot from the brake on the clutch, and we're going to tug against the trailer brakes and make sure they're holding. That's all we need. Fantastic. We set the parking brake. Now we're going to tug against the tractor brakes by releasing the trailer brakes and do the same thing. That's all we needed. They're holding. Now we're going to test our service brake, which is your brake pedal. And to do that, we're going to release both brakes. We're going to pull forward, checking our speedometer while we do this at 5 miles an hour. 2 hands on the wheel. We're going to apply the clutch and the brake and stop. And we shouldn't feel any pull left or right. If we do, that indicates there's a braking problem. So again, third gear. We do not need 100 yards to do this, guys. We can do this in about 40 feet. Just like that right there. There's 5. There's the brakes, no pull left or right. It would indicate any kind of problems. Our speedometer checked out. We're good to go. And we'll back into our starting position. Back in there, we set our brakes. Now the last thing we're going to do is you'll ask me or your tester to get out, go to the front of the vehicle. We're going to check all of our turn signals. So I'll be up there, we'll check our left turn signal, thumbs up, right turn signal, thumbs up. 4-way flashers, thumbs up. Then we got to check our headlights and our clearance lights. Remember, they're both on the same switch. There's a dial right here. Just turn that and flash them. That'll activate those in your headlights and pull back on the stock high beams. All good to go. Then when we're done, you'll send me to the back of the truck. I'll be in your mirror where you can see me, and we'll do it again. We'll say your left turn signal's working, right turn signal's working, our 4-ways. Now we got our tail lights and clearance lights back on the same headlight switch. Flash those are working, and then we add the brake lights. Stepping on the brake, good to go. I come back in the truck, tell you all your perimeter lights are working as they should, and you can say I'm finished, and that is a 100.
Yes, sir.
We got to